Book your car hire with Avis.
Alright, bonjour, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good everything. How's everyone doing? What's the happy haps? Has everyone capitulated in the market yet? I'm starting to notice that my stream viewer count numbers are going down. Like, compared to like 3 months ago. they seem to be a lot lower, which I guess is good for two reasons. One, it's summertime, so people should be outside. And two, hopefully that means that there is some correlation between, you know, very active and engaged audiences and participants in the market just trying to get the next leg of source out of it. And hopefully they'll come later on, we can dump on all their heads. Absolute perfection. Hey Charles, hey Kev, hey Murray, hey Orangutan. Apologies Orangutan, I'm not getting back to you. Yeah, my DMs are fucking awful. Get about 100 DMs a day saying, do you want to increase your follower account or following for like 50,000? It's like, I don't want to reduce it, mate. Hello Osiris101. How are we all doing? Yeah, Sapphire's all it. Cheers, mate. Sapphire's a ledge. Was waiting for it, just caught in time. Nice. Quite happy days. It's much better live generally because, like, it's good to catch up on these, like, don't get me wrong, like, and watch them, like, after the event. But generally during is the time to kind of take anything, you know, because the market changes, right? You watch it tomorrow, the whole market's fucking completely different. Like, you know, everything is shifted. So where are we? Hey James. Where are we trading wise? I mean, I've been trading a little bit today on Pepe. But I am currently in an underwater long, which I got a little bit trigger happy into. And I'm almost break even. Woohoo! I fired in a load here into this, basically. And my average is literally here. And I've held it through all this drawdown. So if you could all just long Pepe and break it out, that'd be wonderful. My average is literally, I started just buying, like, here, into this reclaim. And then it just absolutely shat the bed. And I bought some of this and some of this. And now my average is here. And I just left it open while I played computer games all day. Because it's not the biggest of positions. But it is pretty poor. Pretty poor in terms of active trade management. Bilo Hunsui. You want another banana leg? Yeah. Banana's been really, really good. Particularly though when everything else isn't moving. It's kind of one of those things that, like, the whole market seems to get bored and then flop to quality and go, right, I'm gonna go to what's a, you know, high revenue generating coin, banana. I mean, we covered it on last stream, didn't we, actually? We talked about it last week. I remember us talking about the whole Binance curse and all that kind of stuff, and that actually, if you didn't have a bag, you know, it's definitely one to put on the radar. I'm not sure I said go out and buy it. I don't think I ever really do that. But, yeah, I had a really nice run a couple of days after. Really nice. But yeah, as soon as the market in and of itself starts moving, banana just seems to do really badly. I don't know why. Thanks for the tweets on Nana. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I've got a bag of banana, a spot bag, but I was also trading the perp, and it was fucking horrible to trade. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I had a massive negative funding down here when it broke out, which was wild. Have I looked at any of the Sun stuff? Yeah, I have looked at some of the TRX memes and all that kind of stuff, but to be honest, it just feels like a massive rug fest, you know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. I'm obviously missing out on generational wealth, but these tiny little, like, illiquid meme coins that go 50x in a day and then straight to zero, but yeah, I mean, it's my thoughts on it are actually, like, quite different. Like, I don't necessarily want to get involved in this, and I don't want to jump over and, like, try and catch them at the end of this run on memes, because it's just not really my bag. But there is a theory washing around in the back of my mind that is like, what we seem to be doing is you know, we went to DeFi coins, right? We went to DeFi coins, like Aave and like, what other shit have we been pumping? Like, just some really random crap over the last few months, yeah? And to me, that's kind of like a real desperation for volatility, real desperation for a narrative, you know, probably like, I don't know, pullback territory type play. But, like, what do I think is the proxy play of this, right? We've done AVAX, right? We've done that. We're doing the TRX whole, you know, ecosystem and all the meme coins on there, right? How long that lasts, I'm not sure. I actually think it depends on the wider market. But, you know, while it's running, people... Sorry, the music is distracting. Is it too loud? I can just turn it down a little bit. But, yeah. I want music, mate. It's a bit of vibe while I chat for not only me but for you as well. Yeah, I think it depends on the wider market as well, but like it's definitely the arena to gamble in. You know, if you've got some small shekels and you're not afraid of losing it, then I'd say TRX memes are gonna be hot for probably a couple of days at least. And if they're not, then well, yeah, we've got other things to worry about, haven't we? But I do think the whole TRX meme cycle leaves a lot of opportunity for other ecosystems and meme coins in there, particularly ones that haven't been explored yet. And I'm going to leave that there, but that might give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking at and where I want to position myself for next potential like meme coin legs, right? But not necessarily meme coin legs, like there's some fundamental projects as well, but yeah, I think there'll be other chains that do pretty well off the back of all this. Anyway, Bitcoin, where are we at on Bitcoin? Fucking Chop City, isn't it? You know, really interestingly, like, I tweeted something earlier which was like at these highs. And I was like, I wonder how many people are actually watching this rejection. And I was watching it, obviously, like, in terms of simple like, series of essentially higher lows, like across here. You know, maybe that one wasn't, but that is, like, is this going to be the same? If we broke out, it would have been a really nice rotation, but alas, we did not. Managed to cut my first Pepe trade pretty early, like literally about 3 minutes before we sold off. And yeah, that was nice. That was nice today. Linear. Not sure if Foxy will be a meme player if Linear takes off. Jackson Hole, yeah, some fucking TradFi shit. It's just bizarre that we have to wait for our you know, federal overlords to tell us what the value of our decentralized internet currencies are. It's wild when you really think about it, like absolutely wild, that we're even in a state where this is a thing, if that makes sense. But for now, you know, Bitcoin is holding up. I mean, I'm not really anything at the moment. Like, for me, if I'm looking at this, like, objectively, like, on the daily, it just does not look great. Like, consistently rejecting off this, like, almost 61k level. But, you know, we are getting some real nice rotations. We're getting some risk on, particularly in meme coins. Like, for me, risk on meme coins is always, like, one of those, not signals, but just indicators that there is some degeneracy and some strength left in the market and it's worth trading. Like, you're at PopCat, which is obviously a liquid fucking garbage, but it's absolutely ripping on beta. Now, Pepe's much better, like, genuinely, I'm not just saying that because I'm now in, like, a break-even long, hooray, after eating a fuck ton of drawdown. But, you know, there's a lot of vol. And it is a very good environment for trading. Yeah. Drawdown's been worse than the September-December Holocaust of 2020? Really? I can't remember September-December 2020 being that bad, to be honest, mate. But maybe my brain is... Yeah, I can't remember. Like, I mean... Yeah, maybe. Similar, I guess, in terms of PA. A little bit anyway, not completely great. But this is the period that you're referring to, right? Not particularly. Well, no, fuck me, that's not it. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with me? You said, yeah, September to December of 2020. What about, bro? What's this? It's not a fucking down candle in that, mate. Like, this and then this. Don't get me wrong, I'd absolutely love it if we got price action that looked like this, right? Like, this was the 70k range, and we sell off massively, and then we just do an up only. And we get that wonderful parabolic curve. And just, you know, absolutely rinse it. I think the chances of that happening are almost impossible. Alt split out or Bitcoin pumped? I see your point. Well, I can't remember that, to be honest. It's all a bit of a blur, the COVID times. I remember getting hyper long in here, I think it was, when Tesla announced that the Bitcoin was on the balance sheet. But anyway, let's stop reminiscing about times gone by and start looking at now, the here, the now, the actionable, the inactionable. I mean, for me, there's kind of like working my way down, right, from like the weekly. So let's start looking at like weekly. Like, we've got a couple of like levels that we've been interested in for a while, which is like this 44k level, which I mentioned is when I will close my hedge if when it gets there. Like former highs and all that kind of stuff, but you know, we're miles away from all that shit, right? Like for me, the big level for me has and will always be the 60.2 to 4k level. Like, I've been pivoting and getting chopped up around it, right? So it's a bit of a dangerous level to have my bias around because it's not done me particularly well in terms of, you know, flipping long and short on the back off the back of it. So looking at it, you know, you can very, very clearly see that it is, you know, a pivotal point. I've probably said this to you on various streams, and you know, it's a clear reason, you know, strong breakthrough. Yeah, kind of resistance. It's a little bit low, but whatever. And then like this has just been chopped. This has chopped me up a little bit in terms of Bitcoin itself. Like, I've done really well on alt rotations, as I usually do. Both sides actually on my main account. I've not been trading the challenge account because conditions just haven't been wonderful for me. And yesterday I traded the whole day. I took like I think a 0.5 or 0.7% loss on my whole account, which wasn't great because I was trading. I was basically trading the start of the day. So this is my outlook, right? I wanted to break out on Popcat, and then yeah, I stopped trading about here because we had a babysitter for my daughter, which yeah, was my mum. So she went up there, so I had a nice evening with the wife. And as soon as I shut the PC down, it just went whee. It's one of those classics, isn't it? Of you know, completely burged now, but one of those classics in terms of you spend the whole day trying to get the trade, and as soon as you stop, go to sleep. Like, it's just happened. Good evening, Jesse. You're longing HBAR. What do you think structure-wise? I'll have a peep, mate. I'll have a peep while you've mentioned it now, but HBAR's a bit of a... HBAR's one of those coins, I mean, like, it's illiquid as fuck. It's had its cycle, like, had a big cycle way back when. Like, for me, and I've been chatting to a couple of people about different coins, right? About different, like, fundamentally strong coins and all that kind of stuff. Like, I never like longing stuff like this or buying stuff that's in an accumulation range because I don't know how long it is going to take to get out of such an accumulation range, and it's in a massive downtrend, right? If you're like fundamentally super bullish on this coin for whatever fucking reason, I don't know what HBAR does or blah blah blah, but you know, by all means do it if you want to bag. Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable price in terms of, you know, simple meme levels and stuff, but for me, I much prefer buying strength, and like the entire market doesn't look wonderful right now, but this looks particularly terrible. Like this range and consolidation, yeah, I would much rather it break out and along here with an invalidation under here somewhere. Like, I much prefer doing stuff like that. HBAR is a good project. I don't like where it is right now. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it is. Like, there's loads of good projects, right? But one of the big things for me personally is, you know, I don't want capital tied up in, like, coins that are just either doing this and just slow bleeding to death, or they're doing this, right, and they're hardly moving, where I can allocate my capital to something that has broken out of there, right, and has got a chance of doing this. A much better chance of doing this than something that either looks like this or looks like this and hasn't broken out yet. Are they? Probably a really good example of that, though I don't really want to touch that shite. But, so, like, you're talking about HBAR, yeah? If you look at Aave, which again we covered on last stream, big accumulation range, lots of people talking about it. Actually had some really good strength on the low time frame rotations. It's kind of questionable, so why a load of people are talking about it and like CRV and stuff, but whatever, we'll just skip over that point. Yeah, and then there's, you know, this kind of you know, very expansive move through that huge resistance that has been there for the best part of 2 years, right? Like, you know, I would much rather buy this than HBAR for a few reasons. Like, one, if ETH starts being strong, then this, you know, this should go. It's had reasonably good rotations, and you've actually got a really clean invalidation on it. Again, I'm not saying I'm going to go and take this position at all, just to illustrate the way my mental trading works. Like, I would much rather long that. I'd probably actually go a little bit tighter. What would we go for? Like something like that, right? So that's my thought process, and you know, it works well for how I like to trade, which is, you know, typically intraday at the moment. Let me just grab your let me just grab the chart for you, mate. I'll whack it in the chat. If let's just close that. Gosh, there you go. So yeah, that's the chart, mate. Just bosh it on there. Look at this, lovely. Lovely. Finally a little bit of strength in crypto actually moving. Crypto actually moving while TradFi does. Perfect. Did you tweet the colours on the coin on spaghetti and pick them out by colour and not even need the ticker over time? Yeah, 100%, mate. Like, I know that blue is Pepe, right? What I typically do is, like, the ones that are coloured are the ones that I'm interested in potentially playing. Like, not SPX and NASDAQ. I don't even know why they're on there, to be honest. They never move. It's just an interesting one to see. But, you know, for me, it just focuses you on, like, this blue is Pepe. You know what I mean? I know all of them light off by heart, and it's because I stare at it for, you know, however many hours a week. You know, it's kind of ingrained. Yeah, you're welcome, Ingresh. Apologies if I butchered your name. Yeah, you just get used to it. You know, PopCat, like, this is a really good example of PopCat being, like, the highest beta in terms of the sell-off. It's a reasonable bet that because it's doing that when the market's selling off, that when the market buys back, it's probably going to do that as well, i.e. it's going to massively outperform, which is, like, exactly what we've seen, right? It's high beta, which just means market shits itself, it'll go down a lot. Market recovers, it'll go up a lot. What do you think about the DMTR chart, mate? Like, we are really going through some dog shit tickers tonight, aren't we? I think you must have asked about this before, because there's no fucking way I put that on my watch list for any other reason than somebody asked. I mean, managed to get some of the hype in terms of the like last cycle. Pretty simple in terms of any form of trade setup at this point, in my opinion. Like, you've got, you know, a pretty clean level going across it. Again, not bad in terms of like baby pips would say, oh, what a wonderful fucking potential trade. But for me personally, like, I would want to see some form of strength. Very weird that it just doesn't seem to react at all to the market, but whatever. You know, I would rather have some form of setup that is like, no, giving me an invalidation, like, even just like, even something as basic as, you know, reclaim this and longing with an invalidation under there, right? Pretty much got this like low time frame range for me. But yeah, shitcoin gambler is me. Yeah, fair, mate. You know, and it did run nicely. I'm not trying to like shit on everyone's coins. Like, I'm obviously a boomer now. Like, I look at like shit like XMR and you know, remember this being like one of the glory coins of the heyday. But look at it. Well, I mean, there was a question actually around XMR, around privacy and stuff in general. You know, you look at ZCASH, you know, ripping it from the lows, and no one's talking about that. Literally nobody. CRV, again, yeah, we will reserve some judgment. I mean, it's moved. Do you know what I mean? Like, great. It's pretty. Sorry. Alright. Yeah, I mean, high time frame, I still think it looks like utter fucking dog shit. But if it's moving, great. You know, like, look at it. It's like a knife catch play. And it's a really weird one. I'm not quite sure how people picked this up, but they did. So yeah. I mean, I just don't want to get in, but I would rather go to the Tron shitcoin casino and throw money at that than this. Have I looked at Doge? Actually, I haven't really paid much attention to Doge. Like, the reason that I haven't is that I had a really, really good trade on Doge, which was like, you know, I bought a fuck ton of Doge wherever it was, like down here, and I caught the vast majority of that move, and you know, it was with very good size. It was one trade that I managed to hold for a fucking long time in this whole run, and then ever since that, and ever since I closed that, it's just died off, and it's been shit beta, right? There's a lot of old boomers, myself included, that are like, oh my god, Doge is gonna have its day, blah blah blah. But nowadays, like, the attention cycle just kills like pretty much every coin. Like, look at Doge compared to like any other like meme coin. It is, you could chart any other meme coin versus Doge and it would be super fucking bullish, right? Even like Bonk, which we haven't heard of in a little while, and Bonk had its nice rotation, but at least it had this, like Doge didn't have anywhere near that, right? It's just died. What else? Like, I mean, I imagine SHIB's the same. Yeah, SHIB's shite as well. Like, that's the last time I even looked at fucking SHIB, right? And yeah, now might be a good time to start thinking about getting into some of these coins for like a cyclical play, if you think that, you know, it's going to be up only September and all that kind of stuff. Although September historically has been one of Bitcoin's worst performing months, but people tend to ignore that. Like, you know, you can justify positions in these, but it's still the same. Still the same thing that I would go back to, which is, you know, I would much rather on something like SHIB be longing like this. See a tiny bit of strength on low time frame, or go for the breakout. I'd be a bit more aggressive about it. I'll just fucking buy it and hope that it goes up. And there's going to be so many better opportunities, right? So many better opportunities, in my opinion. Popcat's moved more in the last 10 minutes than Doge or SHIB have, probably in the last like couple of weeks in terms of upside. Oh, I checked on VANRY recently. Yeah, I have actually. It's just shut the bed, isn't it? I mean, a lot of alts have. I mean, again, looks like fucking shit. I actually thought it looked good back here when it looked like it was gearing up for, you know, another run up. And that's the kind of nice structure you want to see in terms of higher lows. And then we got a nice move out, retest, like really, really clean price action, move up again, lovely. And then obviously the entire market started shitting the bed, but this has really shut the bed, which is disappointing. But again, like, I want to play momentum and strength, and this just isn't really showing any. Do you know what I mean? Like, look for something that is going up. So yeah, like, even in CRV's defense, it looks like a much better chart than this, right? Do you prefer to trade larger size, lower lev, or vice versa when you enter high time frame trades? So if I'm entering high time frame trades, I will normally do that by a spot, which is obviously zero leverage. Or at least it is for me. What, like, most of my intraday stuff is just pure leverage, purely on the basis of, if I want to take you know, a $100,000 trade position, why would I put $100,000 on the exchange when I can put $10,000 on the exchange and use 10x leverage, right? There are some things around that, like margin maintenance and stuff, but exchange risk is a huge one. You know, as someone who's luckily survived things like FTX, and, you know, I suppose I got by Cryptopia. I think they got like 9 Bitcoin of mine or something, which, you know, isn't a small amount of money these days. Like, that's why you see me use leverage, but the only thing that matters is position size. It doesn't matter how I get to that $100,000 position size, right? Whether it's fucking 25x leverage or no leverage, you know, just pure cash. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the position size is what's going to determine how much I win or lose. And obviously market volatility when I open, close, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, the point being that leverage isn't the be-all and end-all. And for me, like, leverage is just a tool to manage my exchange risk. That is it. I suppose I've used it a bit in the little challenge account I was running up. Because obviously, like, trading with 10k and running up to 20 in a couple of weeks is very difficult if you're not using any leverage. Good morning, Doc. How are you? Went into the Wix before the big shoot up. Hoping this is support. Good evening. I love my wife and kids. How are you, sir? Yeah, so I mean, like, for me, like, on Bitcoin, and this is why I've been trading like just loads of intraday stuff. Like, it's just really chopping me up, to be honest with you. Like, you know, nice little low time frame range, but like my high time frame bias has really been around this kind of this 60.4-ish level, which we just can't really seem to break through. And I want to be like hugely bearish and just short the shit out of everything, because it has actually paid me very well doing that. But, you know, I'm typically better at longing, although my challenge account would disagree. And like, you know, having that as your high time frame bias whilst we basically range around it is yeah, a little bit frustrating. Good, mate. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm always good. You know, we're just enjoying the market, taking some chill vibes. I think the thing is that a lot of people probably don't use this time productively, right? And I'll say that in the nicest possible way. And like, I don't mean it productively in terms of trading, right? You don't have to trade. You know, no one is forcing you with the gun to your head and saying, right, you must trade these markets, right? You must go out there and click buy or sell. Like, play is a fine position to have, especially like when things are, you know, I think they're reasonably unclear, right? I think we're in a strange situation where TradFi is absolutely ripping. Yeah, we had that sell-off because of, you know, the carry trade or whatever. And TradFi is just going up and up and up, you know. For me, actually one of my favorite kind of patterns to fade in terms of like huge run up and then lower high if we actually get it. But, you know, I'm not going to try and fade the greatest Ponzi scheme in human history, which is TradFi. Yeah. Not yet, anyway. I don't trade TradFi, like. But I might do if Bitcoin keeps being fucking shocking compared to it. Of course, Pepe is selling off. Is everybody 100x short in the markets? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm pretty comfy, like, in that Bitcoin short from the highs. Like, I don't even fucking ever. It's good Twitter flexing. But in terms of, like, this, it's just a range, right? Until kind of proven otherwise. I'd have liked to have hedged a bit of like, ETH or something up at these highs, but, because that's typically the one they haven't managed too well. And, you know, I tried a long down here on the basis of a change in market structure, but that didn't work. And then this was like, I think I longed ETH, got stopped out, long Popcat, made like a small, like, fees basically, long Popcat again, got stopped. This was yesterday. And then I logged off and missed the big run. But, you know, even ETH isn't looking pretty, is it? If you're just, like, objectively looking at this, like, you would say, like, Baby Pips would tell you to go short this. You know, if it closes like this, you can find a short here. A rejection off the 50. You know, former levels, support, etc. Not really working. Do you want a short straight after a massive sell-off? Yeah, I don't normally like doing that. But if you are going to get an aggressive trend, then you're probably not going to get loads of free entries. But I think for me personally, it's like, this is the more probable scenario for the next few days. You know, maybe Jackson Hole will do some stuff, but yeah. Recently looked at the USD, BUSD market caps and stuff. No, I haven't really, mate. I haven't really been paying much attention to it. I assume it's, yeah. I mean, it's a good sign, right? Basically, you had money, you know, the way I look at it is you had money leaving the casino. You've now got money returning to the casino at a pretty accelerated rate, particularly here. Like, particularly recently. You know, and it's a proxy, right? It's not fucking perfect. Like, it's really not, like, going to be the be on end all in terms of this is an actionable trading system, right? Because I think a lot of people make the mistake of, how do I put it? They make the mistake of like, oh yeah, great, well, I'll just long everything then. It's like, that approach would have got you absolutely fucked through these months. And you can see that, like, despite the fact that this is going up, like, most of the market went fucking down, right? So it's not, you know, like, look, total 2, absolutely shit the bed. Which is obviously total crypto excluding Bitcoin. So total market cap. Yeah. So we talked about that before. Well, not actually a terrible trade. Obviously would have round tripped if it didn't take any profit off, but not that you can long the total market cap, but you get the point. And you know, it's very similar, like, viewpoint here, yeah? So like, to me, like, you look at this and you go like, any other chart, you'd be like, look, this just keeps rejecting off this area. Like, we really need to get to a decision point pretty soon. Like, what's it going to fucking do? Is it actually gonna, like, above this 2.1-ish trillion? Like, yeah. Hopefully we get another nice rotation. Hopefully it's better than this. You know, we kill that kind of bouncing ball of momentum, and actually this is the time we run, and we get that move. But equally, looks like shit for now. Which is why I'm not taking on massive risk and exposure, right? I would rather take it above here, bizarrely. How's my PAAL revenue share doing these days? I haven't actually checked, but I mean, I made a reasonable amount off PAAL. And yeah, I mean, again, like pretty much every other AI coin, right? It's just done. Had its day. Probably not dead, right? And the worst thing you can do is say that all these projects are fucking dead. But the reality is that like a lot of these, a lot of these coins that were like on meta coins, so they were AI related, would need, in my view, another AI run to kind of fuel it properly. Which, I've said my views on AI runs and stuff so many times. I just don't think it's going to happen again. It's like saying, oh, we're going to get a gaming run, or we're going to get this, we're going to get that. It's like, I think the gaming run's done, like the Axie Infinity stuff. We'll get a couple of good games out of crypto, no doubt. We'll get a couple of good AI projects out of crypto, no doubt. But yeah, it's not going to be a whole rename your project to Charlie AI and suddenly a 10x is. At least, I don't think it is. Meme exposure is the way to spend these times until we see strength. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the TRX memes and stuff, Stanley, like before you hopped on. I don't know if you were here, but yeah, there's a lot of chat about that, and obviously in a lot of groups I'm in, there's loads of people. There's a lot of people like chatting about them and going for it in terms of like gambling some money over there. And yeah, there's loads of them, right? There's lots that are flying up. Just looking at one, there's 28 mil market cap with 500 holders, like fucking legendary. I looked at one this morning which was like Thune, which like Justin Sun, but like the Bowden meme, and it's gone. When I looked at it, it was at like 650 something, or 0.00065. It ran up 6x, and now it's down from that high. It's down to like 2x, I suppose, 2.5x. It's just wild, like, incredible in a day. But that's what I mean. Is it's like it's gamble funds to me. Like it's nothing more than that. I sincerely doubt it's a sustainable run. It's just people trying to find some decent liquidity and beta whilst everything else isn't moving. I actually think a really good topic of conversation is what I think the next leg of the market is going to look like. And I personally think that we are just going to, I think memes are going to get absolutely battered if Bitcoin drops, right? Absolutely fucking battered to the point where like people let's say we reject here, yeah? So this is the theory. Rejecting here, we're going to 44k, yeah? This is it. So let's prepare for this scenario. In this scenario, I think memes get fucking obliterated. I think when the market finally finds a bottom somewhere around here, yeah, and alts start consolidating and maybe start breaking out of some ranges, I think those projects are much more likely to be decent projects as opposed to memes. I think memes will hit the fucking floor and it will be a race not to zero, but the amount of like on-chain things that will just go to zero overnight will be unfathomable. It will be the greatest rug in human history. Meme coin casino, yeah, it's always open. And there is always a runner, like you said, there is always something, right? And if you can get in with like $100 or $500 or $1,000, whatever's a small amount to you, and one of these shit coins at like 5, 10, 100k market cap or whatever, the risk reward is fucking mental, right? It runs to 1 million, you've just made 10x. It runs to 10 million, which isn't even like unreasonable. You've just done 100x, like, it runs beyond that. And well, now you're talking. 44k, 27th of August. I know it's going to happen because it's my birthday on the 28th. It's the market's gift. Well, happy birthday for next week. I hope you missed my stream because you're out celebrating. But yeah, that would be a pretty shitty present. We dump the entire market for you, say happy birthday, fuck you, and your bags. Like, unless you are massively short, in which case, you know, I guess that would be a good birthday present. But yeah, in that scenario, like, I'm looking for projects that are actually decent, which there's not too many of them about. So not with the opinion Q4's risk on time, or is it just possibilities for now? So, actually, I'll come to INJ in a sec. So I think, right, let me put it this way, right? How many of these dumb cunts who were telling you, like, September's gonna be up only, how many of them fucking told you it was the bottom? How many of them told you it was the top? How many of them trade accounts and put them publicly on, like, CMM or anything like that? Fucking none of them. So what makes everybody think that they can suddenly predict that a month is going to be up only? Fucking bollocks, mate. Absolute bollocks. And like everyone's got this conditioned in their head. I just don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from. Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't get it. It's just fucking copium. That's all it is, right? Like reclaim this. We go macro bull. Simple. Right? Close it over like the 3-day. Yeah? 3-day over 61k. Macro bull. I don't give a fuck if that's in September, December, you know, fucking March, whenever. There's probably, if we do something like this, right, there's going to be better levels, better entry points for that than this. But this is the current point. This is my current pivot because of where price is now. Yeah? Haven't called every bottom since 74k. Yeah, and I hope you don't, you know, take my facetiousness too seriously. But it's just, I get really frustrated by the quote unquote collective wisdom of the crowd when there really fucking is none. Like, I don't know. I'd say who hasn't tried calling tops and bottoms the last few months. Yeah, exactly. Like everyone's just been like, oh, hey, it's fucking bull market's back. I'm sure I tweeted some bullish bullshit up here as we were gonna like, you know, I want us to break out or whatever. Like, I don't know. I thought this run would be stronger than it was in terms of this low high here. But you know, and that's my point. It's like I get it wrong, yeah, and I'm quite happy to admit that. Get it wrong all the fucking time. Part of trading, unfortunately. The reality is though that massive consensus on September being up only. I would almost, if you said right gun to your head, Charlie, you got to fucking pick a bet. September up or down, I'd be like, well, I'll bet down because everyone's fucking telling me it's up, and the crowd's usually wrong by a country mile. So, yeah, it's not one of those. It's not clear cut, right? I just think the chart will be the best guidance rather than doing astrology in terms of what months it's going to pump and what months it's not. What do I teach in the Paragon group? Oh, did I pay you to say that and set me up like that? I'm joking. So what do I teach? So I've got, so's Magus and so's Doc. I've got hundreds of hours of videos, from streams to interviews with some, you know, Chad traders. I've got all the indicator suite that we built for the Paragon group. I share weekly outlooks, trade setups, thesis. We talk a lot on the trading channel, particularly on a rotational basis at the moment because it's a bit harder, right? It's like, it's not, it's much less of like, here's a 4-hour chart, like let's just take magic for some fucking reason. It's less like this. Oh, fucking wrong tool. It's less like this. It's more like, oh, look what's going on with Pepe. I'm chucking a position in, let's go. You know, like I'm not hand holding people's trading, I suppose. Especially not at the moment whilst, you know, we're chopping a lot. Yeah, there's everything around my altcoin trading. Lots of videos, trading manual, indicators, weekly streams, Q&As, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, bit of a long one. Yeah, and if you want to know any order flow stuff, like Magus, like the one big thing, the one big shill I will say for the group is that people spend like hundreds of dollars on like order flow courses and like lots of stuff to do with that and TPO, Sierra, all that kind of stuff, and all these different like sexy templates, all that crap. Like, I don't trade like that, but I know that Magus's stuff alone is worth much more than $150. So that's probably one of my ultimate like shills for it, is that people pay $500, $1,000 for the kind of stuff he teaches, which is a lot more complex than what I do. You know, I look at momentum, I look at RSI, I look at price action, I look at support resistance, and I look at what's generally going on in the market, right? But my trading style is a lot more simple. Docs is a bit more around price action and EMAs, and much more high time frame than mine. And Magus will go over both. But his methodologies are very, very different. Good morning, Abel. How are you? The moon cycle says up only, the stars are aligned, source, trust me, bro. Yeah, that seems... I'm in, mate. I'm gonna flip my earlier choice of short everything and go, I'm balls deep long for September. I don't use open interest. No, I do not. Like, what I do when I'm playing low time frames, and I've done a lot of this in terms of like talk through rotations and stuff. So let's get rid of Popcat, right? One of the things that you'll notice, like, this is spot. Yeah, one thing that I'm kind of always conscious of is not just price action, right? So I try and combine a few things. Price action, momentum, and a little bit of volume, right? But what I'm not particularly interested in is, there's a reason I closed my Pepe here. Yeah, so my average was like here somewhere. We basically got back to my average, wherever it is, like round here. And we just lost this structure. We had this, you know, reasonably high volume, like attempted breakout. You know, looking at this, yeah, and we just completely lost that structure and momentum. Now I can go back in if I want to. If we start getting some strength down here, and we start running it back up, and I can use this pivot as a reason to get on board, particularly if we've got low time frame relative strength, which doesn't particularly look like we have. Yeah, Pepe's down here. Not doing anything particularly interesting compared to the rest of the market. Even Sol, nice little run up. Yeah, Sol strength, Bosch, whilst ETH, you know, I guess a tiny bit of strength, but it's not particularly great. You know, you look at these four charts, right? This, much stronger than down only, down only. So, you know, my point being that, you know, do I use open interest? No. I don't really need to focus on open interest, as well as, you know, we are trading at the extremes on RSI. We have tried to break out and failed. The rest of the market isn't exactly doing much, or wasn't doing much during that period. And it was a good place to just take my trade off for, I don't know, I think I lost on it probably. But it's very small. Full moon today. I like that. It's not a full moon, it's a bull moon. Lovely. But my point on this one, like, this was a bad trade anyway, but I was lucky to get out of it. But like, now we're looking at this rotation, and we're looking at, okay, like, we are basically in like a downward rotation. Yeah. Got a couple of choices. Like, if I'm not short on this, just wait for this channel to kind of break, or let's find, you know, a bit of a capitulation in terms of a volume spike down here, because typically with perps, like and with the rest of the market, hopefully it's kind of pulling back and doing a little sell-off. Hopefully what we'll see is we'll see a decent sell-off. Now, a candle like that, hot knife through butter type candle, big move up here in terms of volume, either people trying to long and catch the lows, or you know, just a bunch of shit closing. Like, whatever, longs or shorts, don't really care. Like, I'm interested in them as like literal pivot points. That's it. Yeah. You know, no follow through momentum at the highs. Yeah, like fucking sack it off. I personally don't want to interact here, but like you could use it as, you know, an entry point if you were seeing relative strength, like, which we're not, so not interested. But up here, I might be interested in a fresh rotation if we start, you know, running up here. Yeah. And I guess that's my point around open interest, is I don't give a shit if it's longs opening or shorts closing or any of that kind of bullshit. All I'm really interested in is, do I think it's going to go up or down after? Is there relative strength? Is there a trade in terms of invalidation? Like, what are my levels? Am I trading at extremes of momentum? Is that momentum justified, like in the wider context of the market and on like spaghetti? Or quite what's the story? Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. You want to look at INJ. Have a look. I've looked at INJ quite a few times, I think. Probably all as a result of this stream. You know, for me, INJ had a massive cycle, did really well, ran a lot, and it's kind of similar in terms of like, I would say VANRY, but it's done slightly better than VANRY in terms of like recent price action, yeah. Like, I'm just not interested in trying to like assume that it's gonna like break the level. Particularly because, you know, it's just ranging. It's like a lot of things, like a lot of altcoins are just like sat in these little ranges. Like, I don't know what kind of trader you are, but I'm the trader that tends to either, so I'll just delete this, right? Just delete this and start again. I tend to either buy into breakouts and add fuel to the fire, or I buy sell-offs and reclaims of like range lows. This sells off, reclaim, hopefully on relative strength, want to buy there. Yeah, that's where I want to participate. Like, this is what I always try to say to people, is like, the reason that we do these squiggles isn't so that we just like, we're bored and when we're streaming, we're marking shit up. It's like, we're actually just writing out a plan. What do I want to see? If price does this, there's not a trade for me there. If price sells off, and we think that that's like an extreme of value in terms of, you know, it's massively oversold, and it can prove that it was by reclaiming a range and hopefully doing that move here on relative strength, great. It's a pretty sexy trade kind of lining up there. Inch sucks for perps, yeah. Took a fat break from everything the last month. Oh, that's awesome, mate. That's really good. Like, a lot of people like have taken breaks during this time, and it's wise. Like, I don't think many people have missed much. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, TRX. Talked about TRX before actually, and just how it has been up only, but very slow up only. Obviously, it's been. If you were actually trading this, it was genuinely a nightmare to trade, but like this move kind of makes up for it, doesn't it? Good old Justin. The memes and mid-caps are more fun, they move. Yeah, and that's it, and that's what you want, right? You want volatility. Oh, just as I'm like shitting on CRV, it's like the best. CRV and TRX. Lena. That's a name I haven't seen in a while. Fucking hell. We are desperate for volatility, aren't we, boys? That's what I mean. It's like, this is why I'm a little bit like nervous. How long did it take you to become profitable on futures? Day one, mate. Never lost a trade. Run a paid group, so never lost a trade. Well, the answer to that is actually, I'm actually going to give a different answer to that. I'm constantly changing my profitability depending on the conditions and environment, right? And I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, when I started trading in 2018, like properly trading, I traded in 2017, yeah, but it wasn't really trading. It was buying meme coins that I liked, not meme coins, like project coins with cool tickers and stuff like Einsteinium, fucking genius, like Disney coin, like Dragon and stuff. Which will bring back some memories for the OGs in the chat. And I was doing a mean reversion system that was essentially trading at extremes counter trend in a very choppy low time frame environment, and I was capturing like 1 to 2% moves pretty consistently. It was very boring, very robust, but it was a profitable trading system, right? And it didn't take me long to be profitable, which it was the right system for the right environment at the time. But then when the environment changed, this got absolutely fucked. Because every move that was at an extreme, I would fade it and it would just do that, right? It would just carry on. So, you know, my profitability at the start was really good because it was the right system for the right environment. But it took me a while to shift to that environment. I'd say a couple of months, and then it took me a while to actually trade that profitably, and then to mix and match between the kind of two, and know when to kind of risk off, size on, size off. I mean, it's a constant battle, and that's the thing that I think is the hard thing about trading, right? So I don't think there is a set limit. I definitely think there's massive differences between trading different environments. And I got very lucky that the first system I used was basically a decent mean reversion one, and we were in a pretty low vol mean reversion market, yeah. So I don't think there's a right answer to that question for anybody. I don't think it's you should be profitable after 6 months, you should be profitable after 6 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of arbitrary stuff out there, and some people would have come into crypto. Day one would have been COVID, right? COVID 2021 or 2020 even. Their first day of trading, quote unquote, was here. And they just longed everything. Longed every fucking day. And they probably retired up here. Greatest trader ever. But if you joined here and you started longing everything, yeah, probably a bit fucked. Join here, start longing everything, yeah, a bit fucked. Join here and short everything, yeah, you're probably gonna do alright, aren't you? Until the meta changes. And I think to be consistently profitable in almost any environment, that's taken me a long time. That took me, I would say, the best part of three and a bit years. I think it's that environment shift and that mindset shift. That's the hardest bit for me, because I'm a real tight bastard. I love just taking money off the table. I love it. Absolutely love it. If I'm up $10,000, I'm like, do I really want to put that $10,000 back on this trade, back in the gambling market, back in the hands of the evil market makers? No, I'll have that. That'll pay for my shopping tomorrow. And that's the thing that I have to fight all the time. Because I am genuinely a tight fuck. As my personal net worth has done this, the amount of money I'm willing to spend on anything has done this. Is the most bizarre thing. Maybe it's, former accountant and all that. I'm on Zillow while everything is turbo down bad. Is that still a top signal? Are we safe? What's Zillow, mate? Fuck Zillow. I'm old. Come on. Expensive ass shopping. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I'm just that's why I'm like low time frame rotations. That's why I love them, because it just gives me like full control, and I genuinely think that it's easier to predict what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes than it is in the next 5 months. I genuinely think that's much easier. But that might just be me, it might just be my skill set, it might just be how I view the market, it might be what I'm used to trading, it could be absolutely any of the above, right? So that was for houses, is it? Oh. I didn't know that. in the UK, I mean, you've pretty much got Savills, or I guess Rightmove is probably the kind of usual one. Yeah, Savills have got some nice castles on at the moment. I just found one for, just found a castle that I quite like. Got a tennis court, lovely. Might have to treat myself top the market while I'm max short everything. But no, I jest, obviously. We actually were looking at houses, and we were looking at houses here. I'll see if I can find the message from the Paragon group. Yeah, it was pretty mad. Like we were looking at houses at the Pico top of the market. Yeah, 24th of April we were. 24th. Oh, so it wasn't too bad actually. It was down here. But it is that classic like maniacal thing of yes, the entire market operates around me and my personal life. Gotta put that piano somewhere, exactly. In the bear market, you revert to mean reversion trading. Yeah. To be honest with you, when we get into a low volatility environment, I'm gonna do less and less trading. I can't be fucked. Like the reason that I'm trading this is because it is really volatile. Like, zoom out. Like this is still a really, really good environment to trade. Like, I'm not saying buy spot bags, like, for the reasons that I've talked through, yeah? In terms of, like, I don't have max conviction, like, to the upside, I don't have max conviction to the downside. I think summer is for chop. I think 61 or 60.4-ish is, a pivotal level. I think 61 on the higher time frame is massive pivotal level. I'd rather buy my spot back up there. But this, like, 21, like, most things moving, 20% in a couple of days, like, it's fucking trader's dream, mate. But if we do go back to bear market low vol, I'm probably not going to be sticking around for most of it, right? If I do, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be sat here every day, like, trying to cram out 5% moves, because the market just won't give you that, right? I'll just be smashing out the 4-hour chart and just taking the odd trade here and there with size and conviction, right? But yeah, if I really, wanted to grind an account up again, and do it like in bear market conditions, then yeah, mean reversion strategies work so much better for like low vol environments. But this is not a low vol environment. Oh, that was epic. Yeah, it was. It was pretty wild. Look to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, hibernate in the winter. The smaller the apartment, less maintenance. I'm one lazy bastard. Yeah, man, that's what I'd do. We found like I sent my wife a picture the other day actually, which was Just to make sure I don't get my WhatsApp up. Yeah, that'd be funny. No, it's not. I have bollocks. Maybe I just showed her. But it was like a man's dream space. And it was just a bedroom with a PC in it. It had a bed, and that was literally it, and like a TV. And I was like, I could live like that. Don't worry, like easy. You know, I don't need a fucking 50 room mansion. Oh, WhatsApp's just pinged now, so I fucking tapped onto it. Yeah, I personally don't need that. I need a nice room, nice bed, nice bath. That's it. Yeah, like most of these charts, man, they just look horrific, but they're still moving, so you know, I'm happy. I'll find a nice house. Cheers, mate. I don't actually think we're gonna move. We've looked at so many houses, and we just fundamentally disagree on what we like and what we need. Right? We're a family of 3. Like, we don't need like ridiculous amounts. It feels, you know, the house that we're in now is really, really nice, and it feels pretty fucking silly going from what we've got to anything bigger. You know, just, yeah, wild. Curious how you think trading changes or evolves over the years. I think it depends on a number of things. I mean, I can only really attest to how my trading has changed over the years. And, you know, I don't think there's a generic answer to that, because I don't think trading is generic. I think actually trading is almost like an art form. It's highly personable to you and to what makes sense to you. You know, some people will never touch alts, right? Just won't touch alts. They'll just fucking trade Bitcoin all day long. Because it's quote unquote easier to read, it's more liquid, blah blah blah, like whatever, you know, great, more play to you. Some people will only on-chain degen, and they will only buy less than 100k market cap coins. And you know, who's to say which one is right? Like, the P&L will be the ultimate arbiter of both. But, I mean, how my trading has changed over the years. It went from being kind of completely free fall in 2017, where I just did whatever the fuck I wanted. It worked out really well because the market conditions carried me, then round tripped a lot of it, and then took it seriously and went very, very process orientated, very detailed, very boring, very mechanical, very heavy on process risk, trading journals, just like literally everything. I would like try and just limit as much as I possibly could, like never market orders like punishable events. But nowadays, like, I've spent so many hours in front of the PC like doing this that I'm a little bit more lackadaisical on my journaling and my, you know, writing out a 7-page essay for every investment. Like Tomo Chain, I did literally a business case for Tomo Chain, like a full-on fucking business case, right? Massive. And I ended up buying a huge chunk of Tomo Chain off the back of it, and going, look, I've got my thesis, I've got everything sorted. You know, nowadays I can look at a fucking website, I can talk to a team member, I can talk to, you know, smart people who I've connected with over the years in the space, and work out if I want to buy some shit, whatever it is, right? So I guess the kind of learning curve for me was, oh my god, I know everything. Fuck, I know nothing. Oh my god, I'm starting to understand things a little bit, but I really need to process the shit out of this. And now I've processed it and processed it, I'd say I'm kind of up here somewhere where I'm like, actually, you know what? Pretty comfortable in my own skin. Know what I'm doing in terms of trading and how I want to play the markets. Other people trade all sorts of garbage, whether it's like low cap memes, which, you know, I do gamble in, but it's not really my core strength. You know, I'm a killer on perp momentum usually. That's kind of my skill set. I used to be very good at like fundamental investing, but I think as the fundamentals in crypto have kind of deteriorated, there's a lot less that tickles my fancy in that particular regard. But I think how it changes and evolves is kind of, you have to keep up with the times. You have to try and consistently evaluate where you are weak and what you need to change. And there's definitely a massive difference between trading like small size and big size, right? You know, when I was trading initially, like I've paid my initial trading balance in fees on very busy days. Like when I started. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's wild to think that. Like, it's wild to look back and go, fuck me, like, come pretty far. But trading with bigger size than when I started, obviously. Yeah. Quite mentally draining sometimes. Which is why, you know, one of the first things on my checklist is, can I be asked to trade? Do I feel up to it? If the answer is no, because I'm too tired, I'm ill, or whatever it might be, then fine. Just don't fucking trade. Or trade with small size. It's a big answer. But I feel like it was a good question. Really good question. So kind of deserved it. Thoughts on XRP? XRP BTC has a nice bottom chart. Yeah, but a lot of... Just because something's really weak compared to Bitcoin doesn't mean that it's bottomed. Do you know what I mean? Like, so many alts have that. Like, I do quite like it, XRP high time frame, don't get me wrong. And like, I made some decent money when we had that move the other day. Like, it's really fucking good liquid moves. Fucking lovely. They're so rare. You know, it does not look bad at all. But it just is not one of the strongest coins. Like, it's just not worth looking at, in my opinion. But you know, you do you, Ellie. I think that's the kind of lecture that I've given the most today around strength and how I like to play strength. But yeah, everyone's got to do like what they want to do. Right, if there's no more questions or no more, you know, comments, queries, or anything like that, I'll probably end it there. I think we've covered some decent stuff tonight. I'm playing a lot of low time frame rotations. I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens on BTC. I would have liked to have shorted BTC, or actually I would have preferred ETH, but you know, I didn't. It's my fault, my B. But you know, we are where we are. You do similar, just a little bit higher time frame. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my like massively autistic self is I kind of feel like I shouldn't say this, but I will. You know, I probably should just go to higher time frames because it's usually much higher EV to just take a trade and then walk away for the rest of the day. In terms of like my personal return on life, but yeah, I quite like, as I said before, like trading the rotations and doing the whole, you know, buying and selling a lot of times in a day, I guess. $15min 200s as a guideline. Yeah, I love EMAs. EMAs were a core part of my initial trading strategy when I started. Like, they are so underrated in general. Like, they are just very, very good. Yeah, cheers, Mary. Right, I will love you and leave you all then, and I will see you next stream. If you haven't liked, subscribed, and done all that crap, then please do. It'd be nice to get to like 4,000 subs. That'd be great. I'd send a screenshot to my mum and be like, look mum, I made it. I'm YouTube famous. Yeah, I will see you all later.